Hey, everybody, welcome back to a wonderful episode of Movie Time with King. So, we're going to hop right into it today, man. We have a great weekend. We had a lot going on, a lot of movies dropped. Lilo and Stitch, uh, Mission Impossible, and we also had John Wick's Ballerina. Ballerina, oh shit, there we go. Yeah, Ballerina, man, I'm not going to lie to you, was an amazing film. Ballerina caught me off guard. I was expecting most likely a storyline in which they followed somebody else during the John Wick saga, and you probably barely got a chance to see John Wick, or he wasn't really going to be um, too much involved, but it may be some here and there, conversations about him. Ballerina took that and threw that out the window. So let's break it down. Let's get right into it. Starts off with the main character, who is Eve. Eve and her father were, let's just say, a part of another society, like the Riscaroma, who they they weren't necessarily under the table, but they were acknowledged. So they did their thing, but they did it in a different way. They were very reckless. They didn't follow the rules all the way, so it was different. Now that was a change for me because I was so used to the rules of the Continentals. Like, you don't do business on the Continental. You follow everything under the table. You follow the rules. There's rules and consequences, right? This group didn't give a shit about none of that. Like, they were rogue. They did their own thing, and the movie starts off with Eve and her father trying to get away from that. So they have rules. Their rules are, and it's kind of cultish. Once you're in, you're in for life. You don't get out. Your kids are in. They're in. Like, it is what it is. And her father didn't want that. So they start off trying to get out of this like castle. They're trying to get out of there because it's being attacked. Now, the crazy thing that I thought, how do these people know where you are so much? Like they knew every time where like Eve would go or her father would go. Like, they knew, they were on it, and that was crazy to me because how do you know? Like, is there a LoJack system? But I also forget, this is the world of John Wick, and everything is spy games. Everything is monitored. They were able to find people, man, like with a phone call. Where is he? What is he doing? What is he ordered in this whole? Like, so wild. So it shouldn't take me that. It shouldn't have got me, but it got me. So Eve, her father is handled, and she is sent off to the Ruscaroma where John Wick was raised. And I assume initially her father was a part of this, like maybe that was the original family, and then he left and joined the cult. So that's my belief. Now there is conversation in the movie, and I don't want to give it too much because I definitely want it to go. The movie did well, but I definitely want more people to see it. And where was I at? So she's raised in the Roma, and that's how she becomes the ballerina. Not because actually she is a ballerina. Like, I think it's a symbolism because the village in which she came from, they had these little ballerinas in a glass vase, like a toy. So, like, yeah, like the ones we grew up with that were in the box that you would, like in the movies, they would open the box and the ballerina would dance and sing a song. These were little glass ones, like in a snow globe almost. So now that was her gift from her father when she got to the Ruscaroma, and the Ruscaroma took her in and turned her into what she was today. Like, and that was another thing that I enjoyed. So in the John Wick series, in I believe it was 3, he goes home because he has to get passageway to Egypt or to Casablanca so he can meet up with the Halle Berry's character. Now, when he did that, they showed the training that they received as kids all the way up to adulthood, and then they get their missions. They become the assassins they want to be, and they gave so much detail in that, and that was dope. The movie, it touched in pause. It touched in places that it needed to. So when I say that her being the ballerina is like a dual thing, it is a dual thing. Like the name for the movie sticks. It makes sense when you watch the movie. So now, fast forward. She's an adult. She's actually on a mission, and she gets attacked by the same people, like the same mob of people, clan of people. There you go. Now, when she gets attacked, this time she's ready, right? You know, she takes them out. She wants answers. That's when she finds out it's a bigger deal than what she knows. Like it's deeper. You know, like there was kind of an understanding. There was kind of like a unspoken truce between, you know, this particular clan and all the other clans. Like they know, okay, we don't mess with y'all like that. We don't respect y'all, but we don't mess with y'all like that. And it was a reason, because they were deep. Like they were a town deep. They were huge. And I'm gonna be real. I don't know how it ends necessarily. If that translates to when she's all done, when it's all said and done, like if it's over. But that's what I'm kind of hoping. Like if we get a Ballerina 2, or some other story in which the John Wick universe is used, because I think they figured it out. And reason why I say that, this movie had so many of the original characters of the John Wick story, because it takes place between, like, during 3. In the same time that 3 occurred, this movie occurs. And I don't know how I mean, I guess I can understand how how they were able to do what they did with the timelines, because in my head, when he got excommunicado in 3, that was like a week span. You know what I mean? Like that was just days after the first one. So in this movie, he makes appearances. Like it's not him and her the whole movie, but he does make appearances. So I'm not sure how those appearances were managed in the timeline, but it fit, because the way they kind of did it, it was like kind of quick, and it would have kind of made sense. You know what I mean? Especially with the money and the resources in which they have, I could kind of see this. So with that being said, John Wick's he made crucial appearances in the movie. And when I say crucial appearances, it's kind of like the character Eve was on her journey, the same journey John did in the first one, in his first John Wick, where he was trying to just get information. He was just trying to find out, and then, you know, had to do a lot of killing along the way. The more he found out, the more killing he had to do. This is kind of her journey. Her journey was, I was just doing my job, you know, making my way downtown, walking fast, and then life came at her, you know. So that's kind of what happened. And then when it all happened, it happened like right after she met John, and it was at the point where John was actually getting his ticket punched. So he got his ticket punched. She met him. Her journey started. Like her journey got crazy, and then later in her journey, they brought him in because she was so good that, you know, the only one that they could figure could take her out would be John. So that was another twist that made it pretty dope. Now, I'm gonna be honest, because again, like I don't want to tell the whole movie. I just want to give my review. The movie was really good. I had low expectations because the marketing wasn't really great. The trailers weren't great. They didn't give you a lot of information. But now I can kind of see why, because they wanted to give us the opportunity to relive that time period. And it kind of shows like a young Winston and, you know, like just everybody of that time, like they kind of, you know, talk to them or they bring them up, and it's like, I don't know how to put it. Like it fit, but then again, if you're a fan, it was like, what? You know what I mean? Like shout out to the studio, right? Lance Reddick was in the movie, and Lance Reddick died, you know, R.I.P. to him, man, legend. How did you get him in the movie, right? So that was like one of the things that we were like, all right, like, but again, they probably have a lot of footage, a lot of clips, a lot of scenes, they could use of him. And that does take me to my one negative about the whole thing. The CGI. The CGI was a little glitchy at points, a little obvious at others. So that was my only negative. Other than that, the fight scenes were great. The choreography was amazing. Like it was just like John Wick. They fought for 70% of the movie, and when I say they fought, it was like the exact same thing we love John Wick for. It's not just a simple fist fight. It is a levels. Like when I say she had to fight the town, she had to fight a town of people, a small village of people was on Boots. So I'll let you take into consideration that part. Like, and when I say you don't do what she did ever. Like, there's only probably 2 people in this world that could have made it out, and it was those 2. So go see the movie, man. It already rated 25 million domestically here in America, 51 global just for the opening weekend. So I think it wasn't projected to really do high anyway, considering who they were coming out with. You know what I mean? Like, Lilo and Stitch still beat them, and I think Mission Impossible beat them too still. But either way, it's 3 good movies. You know what I mean? Or 3 good watches. So I would say if you got a weekend, I know it's festival season, I know it's concert season, I know it's a lot of good series that just dropped. But yeah, take the time, man. Go out and see it. Ballerina, the John Wick world is a must see, in my opinion. Easily 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5, maybe even 4.5. 4.5 out of 5. If the CGI would have been a little bit better, it would have been good. It would have been right on task with the other John Wicks. Like, the story, the revenge, the seeking out, the betrayals, the secrets. Yeah, it was all in there. It kept me awake. It was one of those things where I walked in there a little sleepy. Like, we had pizza for dinner, and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna stay awake for this. And from the opening scene, I was up. I was in it, and there was no bathroom breaks. There was none of that. Like, I was not missing any parts of this. So that's my take on Ballerina, right? If you like what you saw, man, like, share, and subscribe, bro. I mean, I hate saying it so much, but it is what it is. Like the video, because it helps, gets me in the algorithm. Man, share with your friends, or just tell people about it, man. Let them know. I'm trying to put y'all on some good movies, because that's what I do. And subscribe, bro, because there's gonna be a lot more coming. But anywho, that is my take, and my advice is always, man, y'all stay in the movies, man. Have a good one.